right. So to give you a little bit of brief understanding about LambdaTest, we are a cross-browser testing platform. What we does is we are an online infrastructure provider that will help you with cross-browser testing and browser compatibility testing. So I recently read a report by MDN, Mozilla Development Network, and as per that report, cross-border testing compatibility issues are still like the top 5 major issues that the developers kind of face. So this is the issue that LambdaTest kind of help in. We have around 2,000 plus different browsers, browser versions, browser combinations that are available. So for example, I'm using a LambdaTest, I'm using a Windows server, Windows laptop, and if I want to test my application on a Safari-based browser, so I don't have a Safari laptop with me. I don't have a Safari desktop with me. So to do that, to test my application on Safari, I come to LambdaTest. We will find the Safari browser, all the different versions of Mac OS, and you can test your website. So we have around 200,000 different users across the globe who are already using our platform right now. And the best thing about this is that we have integration with all the project management tools and the CI/CD tools that include CircleCI as well. And not just automation tests, you can perform live interactive testing as well. You can perform responsive testing as well. You can perform screenshot testing as well on our platform. So it's more of your end-to-end testing platform, Selenium with an automation capability around Selenium as well. So how LambdaTest kind of fits in the Selenium in the automation testing feature is that we have capability to run your Selenium-based automation grid, automation test across online Selenium grid. So you get both browser coverage, you get the different type of browser environments as well. You can also test your locally hosted or privately hosted apps as well, and not just desktop. You can also run on mobile different type of mobile browsers as well. So another good thing about our platform is that we kind of integrates with all, as I said, all CI/CD platforms that include CircleCI as well. We have around 40 plus integrations in addition to CircleCI that include project management tools like Slack, Paymo, Teamwork. We also integrate with codeless automation tools like Catalan Studio as well. So if you have any type of automation testing, we would be able to complement your testing cycle. So that's a little bit about LambdaTest platform. So how LambdaTest platform kind of integrates with CircleCI is what we call it related to orbs. So we as just Winnie just showed. So when you are integrating your current CI/CD pipeline, your current GitHub code with CircleCI, you kind of have to configure CircleCI.yml file. So in fact, let me kind of just show you this in a sample GitHub repository that I have. So I've created a simple CircleCI sample repository. In this, I have created a app and a test to run that app. So I have created a CircleCI YML file, a config.yml file that kind of defines the org. So I'm gonna run my app on it's a locally hosted app. I'm gonna run this on a LambdaTest platform. I'm gonna test this on LambdaTest platform, and I'm gonna do this all via CircleCI pipeline. So to run that same app on a locally hosted platform, I need a org that kind of integrates LambdaTest with CircleCI, and that is a very simple org, Lambda tunnel org. And to integrate it, you just have to define one line. It's as simple as that. And I'm kind of defining which browser I want to run on. I'm kind of defining what exactly the different processes that I want to start. I want to start a simple npm install because I'm using a testng code. Let me in fact show you the code as well. I'm using a simple Nightwork code, Nightwork.js code. It will kind of open up my localhost. It's a very simple app like this. It will perform few clicks on this. And based on that, it will give me a result like whether the tests have passed or not. So how the pipeline kind of works is that I kind of define what's the process is. So whenever I do a commit in this particular repository, the CircleCI job is created. What it does, it kind of opens up an environment. It kind of prepares the environment variable. It automatically pulls up the code from GitHub. It extracts the tunnel binary that I have at my it kinds of extract the tunnel binary that I have already in the cloud space. It runs an npm install, it executes the test, and then closes the tunnel. So the whole process is automated. So whenever you are doing a commit in your code, it will automatically opens up Lambda test and make sure that the code is being run perfectly across all browsers and operating systems that you have already defined, right? So in fact, let me do a very simple edit on this as well. So I have opened up that particular test here. Let me, this is the simple app that I just showed you on the GitHub side. Whenever I paste it, it will create a pull request in GitHub. Let me create a test commit here, commit to master. And whenever I will hit a push origin, what it will do, it will trigger a CircleCI pipeline. Let me refresh the page. Right. So this is the CircleCI pipeline that is being running at right now. So I have named it a Lambda test tunnel. It is integrated with my GitHub. When you are logged in with CircleCI via GitHub, it will start on this way. So also another fact that Vinny kind of mentioned, that you can run your test in parallel. So right now I am running only one parallel test as out of now. However, if you go to your CircleCI based YML file, give me a second. If you go to the CircleCI jobs that you are configuring, so if you mention multiple jobs here, you can run your test in parallel. So you can run multiple tests at the same time. This is totally supported at the LambdaTest platform itself. You can run multiple tests in parallel. So right now I'm subscribed to only 2 parallel sessions. If you are subscribed to, let's say, 20 parallel sessions, you can run 20 different threads at the same time, right? So let me go back to my CircleCI pipeline that has been running at the same time. Give you a better idea. So here, so we are already at the step where I'm extracting the binary file. Once that binary file has been extracted, we will switch back to running an npm install, and after that we will kind of run the whole test, execute the test at the LambdaTest platform. So once when we are executing the LambdaTest test thread at the LambdaTest platform, you will see a feedback at the LambdaTest automation dashboard as well. So you log into your LambdaTest, you define what test you want to see, and here you will find your test here based on the test name. This is a test that is being running right now. You can see that running test live at the LambdaTest platform. So in my code, I have defined deliberately defined multiple pause functionalities, so that is kind of delaying it. But however, once the test has been completed run, you will see the test is complete. Once the test is complete, you will be able to see complete end-to-end logs related to that test that include the exception logs. For example, there were no exception in my test, so there were no exception log, but you will be able to see complete command logs. So that means that after execution of every Selenium command, our platform automatically takes a screenshot along with the parameters that have been added and the response of that parameters. So this will really help you in debugging at any stage. If your apps breaks up at any stage, you will be able to see what was the screenshot of that particular time. So you will be able to make sure if your website is like your test is breaking at that particular time, you will be able to debug it. And in addition to that, you will also get complete network logs. So this network log will really help you in making your performance and all the particular uh, elements are being loaded or not. So you will get complete end-to-end network logs that will help you out. And in addition, you will get complete Selenium raw logs. So if you are using any custom testing framework that utilizes these Selenium raw logs to kind of give you a more intelligent data, This is where you can use it. If you want to dig deeper into debugging and want to dig deeper into Selenium logs, you would be able to find your Selenium logs here as well. You will also get console logs. So if there were any errors in the console, for example, here there was an error related to favicon, you would be able to find your console errors here as well. And all of this data related to all of these logs, the metadata, or like which browser version, and this all was utilized, you would be able to extract this as well via APIs. So you can use LambdaTest APIs to kind of extract all this data to make sure to kind of debug this, to kind of give feedback to your developers and testers on how the testing is being run at the same time right now. So I do apologize, like my internet is a little bit of slow, so it is taking a little bit of more time to load. So yeah, as you can see in the APIs, you would be able to fetch all the data related to test sessions, related to what the tunnel was doing, what the build was doing, and everything. Right. So all of this can be extracted here. Another aspect that I wanted to highlight is how these tests are being run as well. So whenever you run a test, you have to define on which browser and operating system you want to run this test on. So this is a simple simple object called desired capabilities. So you have to, whenever you run a test, you have to define in your Selenium code an object called desired capabilities that define both the build name, test name, and the platform and the browser version that you are running your test on. So we have a very simple utility around that as well. If you go to the LambdaTest platform, you will find in this help section capability generator. What it will does, it will create a simple code for you. For example, if you're using JavaScript, it will create a JavaScript object for you that defines which platform, browser name, version you want to run your test on. And there are other different aspects around this as well. For example, here I have defined visual true, video true, console true. This kind of defines what exactly the feedback you want to see at your platform. So for example, if you are going to LambdaTest platform, you want to see this video. So this video is already visible if you are defining in your desired capability object that the video part is true. If you are defining this as false, it will kind of decrease the test execution time. So your test will execute faster. However, you won't be able to see a video of that running test. So it's useful in the case where you know that you don't have to debug much. You just want the test to be executed faster. If you want to do a more thorough debug, you want to set all these parameters as true. Right. So that is a simple integration around LambdaTest platform in the CircleCI. So let me in fact give you the end result that you also get. So as you can see, the whole pipeline has been executed. You will see the execution of the test. You will get the feedback as you see in your local console. You will see how this test is being running. So another question that users usually ask is that I already have my running test. I want to already have my Selenium test, how I can integrate it with Lambda test. So if you already have running tests with you, like running Selenium test, and you want to integrate it with Lambda test platform, the first step is that we have end-to-end documentation around it as well. So you can use that documentation to give you a helping hand. But the best part about it is that you have to just define where the test is being run. So if you already have a test with you, if you want to run the same test at LambdaTest browser, you just have to define a different driver, and you have to define the desired capability object that we discussed a little bit earlier. So instead of calling a local web driver, like in Selenium, you would be calling a Chrome web driver or a Firefox web driver, you would be calling a remote web driver. This remote web driver would be present at a grid URL, LambdaTest grid URL that you can find in your LambdaTest dashboard. So whenever you log into your LambdaTest dashboard, in this key icon here, you will be able to see your hub URL. You will be able to see your username and access key. Again, this username and access key has been defined here as an object name, and you have to define a desired capability object. Now, this is again an area where CircleCI helps you out, right? So you want to make this username and password. Usually it is a common one across the complete organization. You want to make sure that it is in a secure area. However, it is not shared with all the users. So what you do is you define your username and password as an environment variable, and you define this environment variable in your settings. So in the CircleCI, if you go to the CircleCI area, you will go to your organization. You will find your settings here, where you can define your project settings here, where you can define your environment variable. If you go to your project settings, there you will find the area called environment variables. Here you can define your email, your key, and your username. So it's kind of not visible to all the users, but it kind of gives you a better way to manage your environment variable. So it really helps you out in the long term in making sure that all the dependencies are there in your present CI/CD pipeline. So that's how it works. You kind of create a complete pipeline, and your that includes your GitHub, that includes CircleCI, that includes LambdaTest. It's a whole conglomeration of all these tools that are working together perfectly to give you a single better output. And every time you commit, every time you do a push, you will be able to see how that particular object, how that particular push commit that you have made is working overall or not. So if there are any errors, you will see of the failed running test in your CircleCI pipeline. You will be able to also see what exactly the error was and kind of debug on it. If everything was success, you will get a feedback like this, everything is perfect. You can the next process of the flow can happen. And if everything is perfect, like you can also automate everything to kind of give you a better idea. So another aspect that I have not in fact done it, maybe in the future aspects I will do it, is that you will get a feedback on the test as well. You can define in your test that once the test has been run, XML file would be generated that give you a better idea whether the test has been passed or failed, or the assertions has been passed or failed. So this is something that I'm not configured right now in my code, because like I needed some time to research on it. But this is very super easy task to kind of give you a better idea how what exactly you have to debug, where exactly you are kind of failing in the test, and take steps to make it better. Right. So overall, it will give you you can run your test in parallel. You can increase your browser coverage. You can decrease your test execution time by running test in parallel and all. So there are two ways how you can run your test in parallel. One is you can use the inbuilt capabilities of the framework itself. So for example, if you are using TestNG, TestNG has an uh, inbuilt functionality that can help you run your test in parallel. Or if you are using CircleCI, you can use CircleCI configuration itself to run your test in parallel. You can run your jobs in parallel. Also, as Vinny showed you earlier, you can run your test in parallel, and that will give you a faster overall test execution time.
If you'd like to learn more, be sure to follow our blog at lambdatest.com/blog, as well as our LambdaTest community at community.lambdatest.com. You can also earn resume-worthy LambdaTest Selenium certifications at lambdatest.com/certifications.